We got some WrestleMania news to get to in this video, but we'll get to that later, as WWE officials are said to be very happy with the progress of the current United States Champion, Austin Theory, as I think a lot of people expected Theory to fall down the card and will wither away almost after what happened last year with him cashing in Money in the Bank and failing to defeat United States Champion Seth Rollins at the time. But the fact of the matter is, WWE had a plan and put that plan in motion when they had Theory, I guess you could say, execute and fail with the cash in of the Money in the Bank, because they just wanted to get the Money in the Bank briefcase away from Theory. Because I think Triple H viewed it as a mistake for him to have it in the first place, which I agree it was a mistake for him to have it in the first place, but also it was a difficult situation to be in because of the fact that unless you were going to have Mr. Money in the Bank keep the briefcase until this time this year, you weren't going to have anybody cash in and successfully cash in against Roman Reigns, because you were not going to have the longest reigning WWE champion in the last 2 decades lose his world title and be pinned for the very first time in almost 3 years in a Money in the Bank cash-in. You weren't going to lose that opportunity to have that much, that big of a boost to your bank account by having somebody cash in Money in the Bank. I'm not trying to discount Money in the Bank. I'm not trying to bury Money in the Bank. I'm saying that the fact of the matter is, if you were going to have somebody cash in Money in the Bank, you do it against Cody after Roman loses the belt. You do it against Sami after Roman loses the belt, not before Roman loses the belt. You don't have Roman lose the title to somebody cashing in Money in the Bank. So either way, it would have been a difficult situation unless the plan was to keep the belt on, keep the briefcase on whoever won it until after WrestleMania. Which I doubt that was the plan, because WWE hasn't done that with anyone since Edge in 2005. When Edge won the briefcase the first time. Everyone else pretty much has cashed in Money in the Bank a lot sooner, a lot quicker, and look no further than the women's division, as the women's division, nobody on the women's roster has held Money in the Bank longer than a day, to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I do believe that nobody in the women's division has held the title for more than a day. Held that case for more than a day, which is ludicrous to me, and I hope that is something that changes next year. But either way, WWE is very happy with Theory, and the fact of the matter is, the original plan for Austin Theory at WrestleMania was Logan Paul, or was said to be Logan Paul as of last year, as of late last year, and that plan changed because of the progression that Theory has made, where John Cena himself is said to be the reason why Theory is facing Cena at WrestleMania, where Cena willingly said that he was more than willing to come in and put over Theory, or help Theory progress to the next level, because he, alongside WWE officials, believe that Theory will be a future star in WWE. And I do believe at this point, because of the progression, because of the depth that Theory added to his character, that Theory will be a future star in WWE, because of the progression that he's made over the last 6 months, and the attitude change that he was able to add to his character, and just become a better WWE superstar than he was, because he was just a basic cookie cutter heel last year when he was the Money in the Bank winner. But this year he's aggressive. This year he's got that aura about him that gives him the potential, that shows he has the potential to be something special I just think it was a mistake having him win Money in the Bank and putting him in that position because he wasn't ready for it. For lack of a better word, Theory was not ready to be Mr. Money in the Bank last year. Who was? Honestly, I think that you could have given it to anybody and nobody should have cashed in because nobody should have beaten Roman in that way with Money in the Bank. And I think that WWE did a wonderful job of escaping that bad situation in a positive way. Speaking of WrestleMania, though, Omos versus Lesnar has been made official for WrestleMania. Omos versus Lesnar. That's right. I'll say it again. Omos versus Lesnar. This is the first time that Brock Lesnar has not competed in a world title match at WrestleMania since his match with Dean Ambrose. Since his match with Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania a few years ago, where they had the match that nobody enjoyed, I believe at WrestleMania 32. Could be wrong, but I believe it was WrestleMania 32. I mean, at this point in his career, Brock doesn't need a title. He doesn't need to challenge for the world title. He doesn't need to be world champion. He doesn't need to be in a position where he's going to be classified in that title picture because Brock doesn't need the world title anymore. He doesn't need to be in the main event. He just needs to be in a position where he could be an asset to WWE and not a liability, which in this position, I think WWE is trying to create a WrestleMania moment for Lesnar. And the WrestleMania moment for Lesnar will be F5ing Omos. Another WrestleMania update is that Lita and Becky Lynch are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I hope that this does not mean that Damage Control are out of WrestleMania, because, I mean, honestly, it's not a good look for Damage Control. Because, honestly, it's just not a good look for Damage Control. And I think Damage Control would have been an asset to WrestleMania. I think Bayley should be included in WrestleMania. I think Dakota and Io Sky should be included in WrestleMania in somehow, some way, because they deserve to be there. They earned their opportunity to be there with the work that they've done since SummerSlam, and they should be a part of WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form. And it's disappointing that WWE is going with the bigger match just because they think that the bigger match is Becky Lynch and Lita versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler does not mean that it should be a one-on-one tag team match and that Damage Control should not be a part of the match. Because Damage Control earned the opportunity to be a part of WrestleMania. And it shouldn't just be where Damage Control is in a position where they're not going to be in WrestleMania because the bigger match is, you know, it's just not fair to Damage Control. I mean, I know it's not, oh, well, it's fair is fair. No, it's not right. It's not right. But that's just my opinion. Speaking of right or wrong, The Miz is set to host WrestleMania, and it seems to be a very positive outcome, or a very positive outlook for The Miz hosting WrestleMania. And I gotta say, it's probably the best way to use The Miz, having him host WrestleMania. Yeah, there's not really anything else to say about that. You know, there's not really anything else to say about that, to be honest with you. Speaking of something I'm unsure about what to say, and also think there's two ways to put that, but that's beside the point. Roman Reigns is set to collide with Sami Zayn in a rematch for the Universal Championship in Toronto on March the 4th, which is this Saturday. it is unfortunate that WWE decided to put the rematch together on a house show and not on a main show. But could this be when Jey Uso decides to pick his side and stick with the Bloodline or join Sami Zayn? I think it could go either way. But the fact of the matter is, that is something that maybe WWE will have the opportunity to show us after the fact on that following Raw on Monday the 6th. But now we shift over to NXT Tonight, with NXT Tonight being the go-home show for NXT Roadblock, as NXT Roadblock is set to take place on March the 7th, a week from today, with Wesley's opens the show with an open challenge, and I don't know if it's an open challenge for the North American title, but I'm figuring it probably will be. Miko Satomura is set to challenge Zoe Stark in her tune-up match before her World Women's title match on Roadblock next week against Roxanne Perez. Carmelo Hayes and Tyler Bate will likely headline the show in what will be a spectacular matchup between two of the very best in NXT. Gigi Dolan will address her former partner JC Jane, as Gigi returned to NXT last week, jumping her former partner. Sol Ruca and Elektra Lopez will collide on NXT Tonight as well. Veer Mahan and Sangha against Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, as Mahan and Sangha finally start to mount some momentum as a tag team. That is tonight on NXT, live on the USA Network. But also, before we go, I just wanted to provide an update on Matt Riddle. Riddle got taken out late last year by the Bloodline, and it was said to be that Riddle was just going to miss about 6 weeks due to his injuries, which would have put Riddle coming back around Royal Rumble season. But Riddle, it said, and they drilled this point home, Riddle was supposed to be gone for 6 weeks. Now we are about 11 or 12 weeks out for Riddle, and we now know that the situation where Riddle was gone for this reason or Riddle was gone for that reason, and I mean, I think that it's like Meltzer said, it is very likely that they just decided not to use him for WrestleMania, and that's the reason why he hasn't come back yet. But it is our nature as, news outlets. It is our nature as news outlets to speculate and to wonder what's going on and what the reason is. I hope for the best for Matt Riddle. I mean, I know there was talk of Riddle being in rehab, but I hope for the best for Matt Riddle, and I do hope that WWE has not lost complete faith in Riddle, because he did have a ton of momentum when he left, and he should have a ton of momentum when he comes back, probably after WrestleMania. But that is the end of the news cycle for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe or leave a like, drop a comment, whatever you would like to do down below. And I will see you in the next video.